Alright everybody, welcome back to another edition of Book de Premium. In this particular lesson, we are going to discuss a very late development in the game, something I sort of thought of off the cuff. And the idea is Fenderdoodles on crops, right? And so we're already familiar with Fenderdoodles on resource shop items, purchased or still in the shop. And we're familiar with Fenderdoodles in the crop markets, the crops in the market. So after that, we want to consider the possibility of Fenderdoodles on crops. And so if we take a look at the example I've laid out here, you'll notice we have Fenderdoodles on crops. Now, in order to do this, it requires two actions, right? So you're going to place the baby on for one action, the baby Fenderdoodle, Primordia, and then for another action, it's going to turn into a hypo or adult, and that is the only thing that confers the benefit of Fenderdoodles on crops, which is, I should say, the benefit is putting the crops in the market, getting to maneuver them a certain amount of spaces. And the way that's determined is whatever crop has the Fenderdoodle on it, you take a look at its status in the market, and you check it out, and you see that, for instance, I'm growing beans with the Fenderdoodle on top. I look at the beans and I look at the value and it says 9. Well, what that really means is if I use a free activity, bear in mind that it's free, I could use a free activity on my turn to make a one-time action of moving the beans potentially 9 spaces. And those spaces can be moved up, down, left, right, doesn't matter, backwards or forwards if you want to go that direction. And you can move it 9 spaces from where it's at. You can also move it any amount of spaces less than 9, right? So it's like an inclusive term. It's 9 added to everything else. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and so that's a really cool benefit of placing the Fenderdoodle on the crops. Okay, so if we take a look at the example here, so if this player, your A starts, let's say they rolled a productive roll, they might want to use the free activity and move the beans up 1, 2, 3 spaces so that it's beside the corn. Okay. Right? So now that I've done that, I've got my 2-crop combo potential. And that's what we like. But grower B over here has broccoli, and they may want to move it down to the kale. But we've also noticed that grower C has charred potatoes, and they both have Fenderdoodles on them. Okay, so what that means is they could potentially move their chard all the way to the top, knock the beans down, and move their potatoes up 4 spaces, so we could go just 2, and that moves our stuff to the top. All right, but if we take a look at the broccoli can move 3 spaces up and potentially disrupt the chart of potatoes, right? Okay, and so those are just, that's just a broad example of what can happen when people's interests clash, and we have kind of a Fenderdoodle face-off, right? So anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. This isn't in the rules, it's just something I thought of, this is a future generation sort of consideration after I'm long gone. And so that's the idea, that's the main gist of it. The other topic I want to talk about is Fenderdoodles. Um, we talked about raid actions with Fenderdoodles. If you have an adversity card, you can conduct a sabotage raid on other growers, and but you lose your adversity card. Well, we're also going to include the fact that you can sabotage raid other people's Fenderdoodles. You can actually like recruit them, and they come onto your side. They come onto your team. But that's going to take up 3 adversity cards. You know, you have to give up 3 valuable cards in order to do that. So you might want to really think about that, whether or not it's worth it. But it's just another option to, you know, kind of go on the defense and play aggressively towards other growers. Bearing in mind that, you know, UFTA is supposed to be a diplomatic game. And depending on your mood and temperament, your style of gameplay can definitely vary according to your own ends, achieving your objectives or goals, versus maybe doing something altruistic or satisfactory to appease the group, right? Those are kind of the tensions in life, right? It's the tensions in our religious thinking, going after what the self and the ego wants, versus doing something magnificent, dramatic for your fellow man. So anyway, these are some of the conflicts and interesting ideas that have been sloshing around in UFTA, and I just want to impart them here to demonstrate the versatility of gameplay. Okay? Alright, so I think that's going to do it for now. Till I see you next time, keep on playing UFTA, everybody. Have a good day. Adios.